Fox interviews DOGE. That one's really interesting. We got 3 clips of this because it's a really big video. We're not going to watch all of it. So I got I think in my opinion, the best 3 clips that we can talk about.
Okay.
Let's start with the first one.
Give me a second.
Yeah.
Let me crop you real quick.
Yeah, it's a learning process.
The ways that the government is defrauded is that the computer systems don't talk to each other. So if the computer systems don't talk to each other, then you can exploit that gap, and fraudsters exploit that gap, take advantage. For example, there were over $300 million of Small Business Administration loans that has been given out to people under the age of 11.
Well, actually, to add to it, it's $300 million under the age of 11 and over $300 million to over the age of 120.
Definitely
small business loans.
Correct.
Yes. The oldest American is 114. So it's safe to say if their age is 115 or above, they're fake. Or they should be in the Guinness Book of World Records. And we should not be giving out loans to babies. So
that's obvious.
The youngest recipient of a Small Business Administration loan is a 9-month-old, which is a very, very precocious baby we're talking about here. So obviously it was just fraudulent. And they do terrible things. They actually will see that a kid's been born. They will steal that kid's social security number and then take out a loan and leave that kid with a bad credit rating.
I think that's it for the first clip.
All right. Let's move on to the next one. Because I want to just get the full
let's just write up. So
There's literally a baby. The terrible things are being done is what we're saying.
And how?
And we're stopping these terrible things.
And you can stop it? I mean,
we are stopping
The reason this is
absolutely.
happening is because the 2 systems are not talking to each other.
Yes.
Right. And so you don't know at the Small Business Administration that you're giving a loan to a 9-month-old, which happened in one case, because you're not cross-referencing that with the Social Security Administration data that has birth dates. So that very, very simple fix eliminates tremendous fraud. And that there are multiple systems across the government where the systems are not speaking with one another. And if you just solve that simple problem, you would solve a huge amount of fraud.
Are you surprised?
So one of the ways that, like one of the key tricks that the fraudsters pull is that they will use the fact that someone is marked as live, as sort of just that Social Security number is marked as live in Social Security,
That's
and
crazy.
then get disability and unemployment insurance for a dead person. Because the databases don't talk to each other, all they got was from Social Security is like, is this person alive? Yes, they're not alive. It's falsely marked. Person is falsely marked as alive in Social Security. But they didn't. But that fraudster can now get unemployment and disability from a dead person.
That's crazy, bro.
This is happening all the time at scale.
Are you surprised at some of the legal efforts and some of the judges?
Well, yeah, that's
All right. So now the next one is I think it's 118 to 228. Yeah.
Give me a sec.
Yeah, I think so.
Last thing, do you guys all see this as a patriotic duty? I mean, is that really what this is about?
It's essential.
Very much
I do, 100%. I was running 5 businesses in Houston, and I left that. I left great people to do this, and my wonderful wife said, "Go for it," and here I am. But I feel like this is me giving back to the country.
If we don't do this,
Heck yeah.
we're sunk. The ship, unless this exercise is successful, the ship of America will sink. That's why we're doing it.
Well, gentlemen, I really appreciate the time.
Right there.
Hassan, Interior Department, you're a former oil company CEO. You're reviewing contracts before they're approved for funding. What do you find?
Oh my God, this is big right
Elon and Steve kind of stole my thunder a little bit, but I actually found that customer service survey contract. I actually have an example of one right here. I could have done this in high school. And
Is that right?
I found it.
Is that bad?
I found it on the weekends because under the Biden administration, there was no departmental oversight within the Department of Interior whatsoever. None. We are now reviewing every single contract, every single grant, and when things come to my attention that don't make sense, I'm bringing them to Secretary Burgum, and he's been fantastic. He's a businessman. He's very supportive of DOGE. It's been wonderful to work with him.
Is the battle between government of decades and decades of buildup and business, which you guys are, is that like a train hitting each other? I mean, it seems like it's pretty disruptive.
Well, this is a revolution, and I think it might be the biggest revolution in government since the original revolution. But at the end of the day, America is going to be in much better shape. America will be solvent. The critical programs that people depend upon will work, and it's going to be a fantastic future. But are we going to get a lot of complaints along the way? Absolutely. You know, one of the things I learned at PayPal was you know who complains the loudest and with the most amount of fake righteous indignation? The fraudsters. It's a tell. There's some of these NGOs that are crazy.
Interesting.
Like the $2 billion to Stacey Abrams NGO that basically didn't exist and suddenly gets $2 billion awarded from the federal government. She has,
All right, go to
why?
310 about the last
And there are
one.
many such cases like that.
I think that most
That was the last one.
Oh, that was the last one? Okay, sweet. You just mixed them all together. Good. Cool. So, okay, put it this way. The way I saw this interview is very symbolic. Because Bret Baier said this is the first time where business and government collide. And a lot of people say, well, that's fascism. And I say, well, it depends on what your interpretation of fascism is. So to me, this is not fascism. These are independent CEOs that are choosing to be selfless and are choosing to get the experience that they've gathered over being CEOs of multiple companies that are successful, and they're applying it now to government because government has not been updated in over 50 years. And who's gonna do it? Nobody in government is doing it. They don't know anything about upgrading softwares or how do you connect all these systems together? Like, how do you improve the communication for all these different departments? They don't want to do any of that. That's not their job. The government is meant to just operate as far as these systems and how they intertwine and interconnect with each other. That's all tech-based, and there's nobody in government that is techie enough to have been able to do that. That's why we have all these problems right now. That's why DOGE is even a thing. Because Congress technically is the one supposed to be the DOGE, but Congress can't be DOGE. Because Congress is the legislative branch. All Congress knows how to do is how to pass a bill into law to fund things. That's it. Don't ask it how to make a system better as far as like this. This is very technical. That's not something that Congress honestly should know how to do, I don't think that's I think that there should be a whole separate department. That's why DOGE is now a thing. I don't think it's going to be a permanent thing. And Elon Musk, I recommend you watch the whole thing, says it's not going to be a permanent thing, but it's something that we need right now because there's way too much fraud. We're wasting money that we don't really have. And I think the best part about this is that it's exposing the politicians that are making excuses as to why this is a bad thing. Like, it's putting the spotlight on them. Like, why are you not for this? Like, what are you getting out of not being for this? And I think it's making people question more the validity, the credibility of politicians that are against the efforts of DOGE. Because none of those guys have to do what they're doing. They're choosing to do it because they see that if they don't, the country will go downhill. We will go bankrupt. Why would you want your country to go bankrupt? If you're a politician who really cares about the country and the future of the country, I don't see how it makes any sense to go against DOGE. I don't understand. To me, fascism is the government forcing business to do what the government wants business to do. That's not what this is. These are independent CEOs of successful businesses that are choosing out of their own free will to help the government. And in reality, they're helping us, the American citizens, the ones who are paying into the system. So I think this is a massive win for the American people, for the government, for our future. And also, it's a massive win because it's exposing those who really don't have America first interest in mind.